back into your community. And Town Square Media South Jersey puts a spotlight on local restaurants.
Beach Buns Bakery in Northfield. Fresh and delicious baked goods. Online at beachbunsbakerynj.com. Trio North Wildwood, chef-driven, quality-focused, bridging the gap between bar food and fine dining. TrioNW.com. The 20s Italian restaurant at the historic Claridge, Atlantic City. Visit Claridge.com. Jester's Dive Bar, celebrating their 1-year anniversary. You have to check out Jester's in Rio Grande, where you will enjoy handcrafted selection of shareable plates, including burgers, wings, sandwiches, and daily specials. Watch your favorite NFL team or root your team to the World Series on plenty of HD TVs. Check their website at jestersdivebar.com for their full schedule of live music.
Thank you for supporting these great local restaurants from Town Square Media, South Jersey.
When you hear this,
they've got him again,
and this,
he scored,
and this,
oh boy, what a move by Embiid!
You think of us. We are sports. 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
Oh, what a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
And welcome into a Thursday edition of Game Night. 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. We got football to talk about. We got Sixers to talk about. All that this hour on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. As always, you can join the conversation. 609-403-0973. That is the text board. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. We'll get some college football talk in here. We haven't had a lot of that this year because of the Phillies playoff run. But Gino Torretta, of course, he is the former Heisman Trophy winner back in 92. He'll be joining us coming up in less than 20 minutes. We'll talk with him about the state of college football after the latest rankings. And, of course, he will be on the radio this Saturday on 97.3 ESPN as he will be on the call for what could potentially be the final Bedlam rivalry game. Yes, Oklahoma State versus Oklahoma this Saturday on 97.3 ESPN. We will have that game following the Sixers versus the Suns right here on our radio waves. But before we get to any of that, I want to get into some more about the Eagles because the Eagles are in a very interesting matchup with the Cowboys this week. And for me, I think one of the biggest keys to this matchup is the fact that it's Philadelphia's offense versus the Cowboys' defense. And I know that you've had multiple quarterbacks playing for the Eagles because Jalen Hurts has not started every single one of those games. It's been Hurts, it's been Minshew. But the last 4 games between the Eagles and the Cowboys, when Dan Quinn has been DC for Dallas, the Eagles' offense is averaging just under 27 points a game. And they're averaging almost 400 total yards in each of those games. So what does that say about the Eagles? Well, it says that whatever Nick Sirianni is doing offensively, whether it's Hurts or Minshew, a quarterback, it's having success. And I thought Casey Joyner brought up an excellent point earlier when he was talking with Mike Yell on the Sports Bash. Because he talked about who the Cowboys' opponents are and what kind of games they've been in. And Casey brought up the point that Dallas has not been in any shootouts this year. They haven't won any of those kind of games. Every game Dallas has been in, they either got a win in a blowout, a low-scoring game, or they got blown out. So what does that mean for the Eagles? Well, this year, Dallas has not won a single game when they've allowed more than 20 points. And what did I just tell you? The Eagles are averaging against Dan Quinn 27 points per game. So on the surface, This game could literally come down to, can the Eagles get to that number? Because if they get to the 27 that they're averaging against the Cowboys defense, they will probably have a chance to win the game. Look, Dan Quinn and Dallas's defense have played very well this season, okay? This is not a negative against them. But the Cowboys have been a Jekyll and Hyde team, as I was telling Mike Gill earlier on the Sports Bash. I can't trust a team that has the greatest of highs and the most depressing of lows. You lost to the Cardinals 28-16, and you lost to the 49ers 42-10. Aside from those two games, here's Dallas's wins. 40-0 over the Giants, 30-10 over the Jets, 38-3 over the Patriots, 20-17 over the Chargers, 43-20 against the Rams. Only one of those games was close, and it was a low-scoring game, probably in part because Kellen Moore used to coach with the Cowboys, and he probably gave the Chargers coaching staff some unique insights. And because Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys knew Kellen Moore's offense, and they had unique insights. So if you take that game out, every game on the Cowboys schedule has been a multiple score deficit. Philadelphia, on the other hand, has something Dallas doesn't. I think this could be very well the difference in this game. Philadelphia has had to learn how to win ugly fights. They've had to learn how to beat the Patriots on the road in inclement weather 25-20. They had to fight to beat the Vikings. They had to fight to beat the Commanders, not once, but twice this year. And the Rams game was not easy at all. The only game that was purely in hand for them was the Dolphins game. And the score doesn't even tell the full story of that game, because one of the scores for the Dolphins was by their defense. So ultimately, Philadelphia has shown you what they're capable of. They're capable of winning a multitude of ways. And Dallas has not had a ton of success against Philadelphia. Now, 2 of the last 4 games, Jalen Hurts did not play. In the game on January 18th, when Dallas scored 50 points on offense, the Eagles sat pretty much their entire team for rest. And then on Christmas Eve, that was Gardner Minshew turning the ball over 3-4 times against the Dallas defense, while Hurts could do nothing but stand there and watch. Jalen Hurts versus Dan Quinn with the Cowboys has thrown for 481 passing yards, a 63% completion percentage, and 4 total passing touchdowns. And considering the fact that Jalen Hurts this year is top 10 in the NFL in passing yards and passing touchdowns, I think Hurts can have success against this defense. And furthermore, Dallas did nothing to improve their team. I think people really don't understand that Dallas is not built for an ugly fight. Okay? Mike Gill brought this up with Danny Ryan when Danny was doing his 5 with Danny Rye segment in the 3 o'clock hour on the Sports Bash. Dallas is a team that throws haymakers. And if they miss the haymaker, they get knocked down. I am not going to trust a Cowboys team that can't consistently put the same product on the field to be able to stop the Eagles' offense. And if you can't stop the Eagles' offense, you got to play catch up. And do we really believe Dallas is going to be able to play catch up if they're behind a touchdown or 2 against an Eagles defense that is not elite, but is still one of the best at quarterback pressure? Josh Hennig here on Game Night, 97.3 ESPN FM, and a 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Of course, Sixers are back in action tonight. You hear the action right here at 7 p.m. Tom McGinnis on the call right here on 97.3 ESPN. The Sixers, it's going to be interesting to see what exactly happens tonight because you have a situation and an interesting opportunity where this is the first game in the post James Harden era, the first game without James Harden's cloud hovering over them. How good could the Sixers look tonight? Because remember, they already beat the Raptors in Toronto earlier this year. But now, you have an opportunity to just let loose. And I think Philadelphia is going to let loose for the next 2 months. James Harden is over in Los Angeles saying, I'm not a system player. I am the system, saying that Philadelphia had him on a leash last year. That's why Philadelphia didn't win a championship, folks. Because the guy who was supposed to be invested in winning a championship was more invested in himself than the team. You don't have that guy anymore. Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid are more team-oriented players than James Harden ever was. And now, when you bring in these supporting role players like the Robert Covingtons, the Marcus Morris, these guys are going to be part of the solution. And with Tobias Harris playing as well as he is right now, I'm not saying that Philadelphia is going to win a championship with these players, but Philadelphia is going to win a lot of games over the next 41. Remember, this is game 1 of 41. Why 41? Because there are 41 games from today to the end of January, which means you better get used to the team that you see on the floor right now, because these are the guys that are going to be playing for the next 41 games. Because at the end of January, when we flip the calendar to February, what's sitting there? It's going to be the trade deadline. And that's when we are going to find out what actually comes of all of this. Look, there is something unique about having a team that has depth. And for the first time for Philadelphia in a while, they have legitimate roster depth. And I'm looking forward to seeing it play out in action. Dan EHT chimes in at 609-403-0973, says, this is weird with the Sixers, Josh. I'm not sure who or what they are. Well, Dan EHT, I think that you're overthinking it. And as the world's foremost expert on overthinking, I can tell you myself that don't overthink it. Philadelphia is a team with the reigning league MVP, 2-time defending scoring champion, Tyrese Maxey, who he's not Allen Iverson, but he's whatever the next tier below, right below Allen Iverson is. He is a guy who is electric. He's aggressive. He understands the game of basketball. He is a talented individual. Tobias Harris could be maximized by Nick Nurse's systems. Every wing forward style player who plays for Nick Nurse is maximized on the court with Nick Nurse's teams. And then you have a team full of athletes. Robert Covington, KJ Martin, Marcus Morris, Jaden Springer. Remember, you cut Danny Green. So you don't have to worry about him being on the court anymore and being beat by guys on the perimeter. Now you got other guys to guard people. And by the way, Kelly Oubre, who's expected to start tonight. Oubre is a guy who is probably going to, and I say if he continues to play as well as he has been coming off the bench, he could be sixth man of the year. Just keep an eye on that. All right, coming up next, we'll talk some college football. 1992 Heisman Trophy winner Gina Toretto joins me next here on GameNight with me, Josh Hennig, on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app. It's free thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle.
Listen every Saturday for the nation's top college football action on 97.3 ESPN.
This Saturday, it's Bedlam on Touchdown Radio. Oklahoma at Oklahoma State for the Big 12 Conference lead. Join Brett Dolan and me, Gino Toretta, for a shootout in Stillwater this Saturday on this Touchdown Radio station.
It's College Football Saturday on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins after Sixers basketball.
Are you tired of having the same boring place to have your company or private party for the holiday season? Bring back the fun to your holiday bash by hosting it at Tennessee Avenue Beer Hall. Enjoy the beer hall's 40 taps and an incredible cocktail menu in its spacious, awesomely decorated interior, as well as a festively decorated outdoor yard featuring a heated bar, fire pits, and giant holiday tree made out of beer kegs. Tennessee Avenue Beer Hall's menu can be custom made, whether it's casual sliders and wings to gourmet surf and turf. So book your holiday event today by going to TennesseeAvenueBeerHall.com.
A healthy weight, more energy, and smooth, regular bowel movements. 3 things everyone strives for.
It's me, Chuck Norris. There's one really important thing we don't talk about enough: our health. Achy joints, digestive issues, weight gain, and fatigue. We're told these are normal signs of aging. So working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick.
Morning Kick is a revolutionary formula combining 10 different supplements in one. Probiotics that help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and several of the most powerful anti-aging supplements on earth. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, focused, and help manage stress.
Anybody can achieve great health regardless of their age.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com. Use code SUPPORT or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off today.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511. Morning Kick. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon and more Apple gifts for the fam.
This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for a great deal on the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and Apple One with unlimited Ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Go to your local Verizon store now.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-5407. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-5407. That's 800-575-5407. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
O'Reilly. Protect your engine better with Syntec Full Synthetic High Mileage Motor Oil. Only at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec High Mileage is formulated for today's engines with over 75,000 miles. Now get 5 quarts of Syntec High for just $34.99. Limits supply. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
She's running around. Her breath doesn't smell. Her digestive system is perfect. It has made such a huge difference.
What did this dog parent do for their dog? She switched to Nature's Blend, a premium freeze-dried raw dog food made by Dr. Marty Goldstein, a veterinarian Forbes magazine called the Miracle Worker. It's the easiest way to support your dog's easy digestion, nourished skin, playful energy, and most importantly, their healthy, full life.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free full-sized bag of Tilly's Treasures dog treats. They're best-selling beef liver dog treats while supplies last. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or shop in over 2,000 stores nationwide. Use the store locator to find the store closest to you. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
This week at Target, you'll find different early Black Friday deals. Get fun deals on the latest tech, toys, and video games, plus smart deals on small appliances, floor care, and so much more. At Target, you'll discover different early Black Friday deals each week and get what you need for the holidays fast with free drive up or score free shipping when you spend $35 or use your red card at Target.com. Get low prices and early Black Friday deals only at Target. Exclusions apply.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon and more Apple gifts for the fam.
This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for a great deal on the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and Apple One with unlimited ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Go to your local Verizon store now.
Hey, Josh Hennig here to tell you about how Jenkins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning has helped your favorite football team. Did you know that over 40 years ago, John Jenkins Sr. invented the heated seat that football players sit on today? Yes, the Jenkins family created a way for football players to weather the extreme cold. Now imagine what Jenkins could do for your home. Call Jenkins for plumbing, drain cleaning, and leak repairs, gas furnace, boiler, and hot water heater replacements. Call Jenkins today at 609-641-6262, online at jenkinsandsons.com.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Josh Hennig back here on 97.3 ESPN. Check back on the text board at 609-403-0973. George in Summers Point, I see your message there. I do want to follow up with Danny HT because Danny HT talked about the Sixers. He asked, I guess you answered what the Sixers are, Josh. They are not good enough. And I'm glad Danny HT followed up because Danny HT is giving a message for what a lot of people may be feeling like and thinking, but they're not willing to say out loud. Okay? I think there's a lot of people who look at the James Harden trade and see a guy who they feel like, and again, I'm just trying to put some context on this, who they feel like Sixers didn't get enough in return for him, okay? And the truth is that the James Harden trade is not done. Yes, the official result of the James Harden trade is done, which is James Harden being sent to the Clippers, is literally a done deal. But what comes from this trade is not a done deal. Because people are trying to say, well, you traded Ben Simmons for Robert Covington and Marcus Morris and all these guys because when you gave up Harden, when you gave up Simmons to get Harden and you gave up Harden, that's what you got in the end. But the deal was not done because Daryl Morey is going to make another trade. See, Danny HC, yourself and a lot of people, you're looking at it as this is the final result. This is the final team on the court. And that's not true. You see, the Sixers that you see play tonight against the Raptors are not going to be the Sixers that you'll be seeing in March and April and May. I can promise you that. So while you're worried about how good they are right now, I'm telling you, don't worry about what they are right now. Listen, I explained this yesterday all over 97.3. I explained this for 2 days now on 97.3 ESPN. And maybe I need to say it a little louder for the people in the back of the room. Okay? Daryl Morey acquired a team that for 41 games needs to go out there and win basketball games. And for those 41 games from November 2nd to the end of January, for those 41 games, you have what is known as a really good regular season roster. You know those Toronto teams with Dwayne Casey years ago, or those Atlanta Hawks teams with Mike Budenholzer who won all those games? How about those Rick Carlisle, Pacers, and Detroit Piston teams back in the early 2000s, or the Frank Vogel teams that were competing with the Miami Heat in the early 2010s, right? All of those teams that I'm referring to were great regular season rosters. They had the depth. They had just enough star power to win 50 to 60 games a year. But they were not good enough They were not good enough to win in the postseason. They were not built for postseason success. The team as currently constructed is built to win for the next 41 games. It's got depth. It's got athletes. It's got everything you need for regular season success. But when we get past that 41 game mark, we'll be in February. And then Daryl Morey will be in the process of making or have made a deal or something along those lines. The deal is going to get done. There's going to be a deal by the deadline for whoever it is. OG Anunoby, DeMar DeRozan, Pascal Siakam, whoever it may be. The Sixers are getting another guy. So Danny HC, I say to you and everyone out there, don't worry about what the Sixers are now. Exercise a little patience and understand that there is a long-term benefit coming from this situation. This is a game of chess. Daryl Morey has sacrificed a couple of pieces on the board to get the larger prize. He sacrificed a bishop or a rook so he can get his pawns to the other end of the board to get that bishop or rook back. Okay? That's what we're dealing with here. You're dealing with a guy who's thinking 5 steps ahead of being 5 steps ahead. Now, will the ultimate move work by Morey? I have no idea, and neither do you, and neither does Daryl Morey. But what we do know is he's not finished. But he has set his team up. Because remember, all the guys you acquired cannot be traded again for 60 days. Well, what's 60 days from now? January 2024. And typically teams do not make major trades in the middle of January. So the more likely scenario is the Sixers will let these 41 games play out. They will get to the trade deadline or the weeks before the trade deadline. They'll move 1 or 2 of the guys they acquired from the Clippers with a draft pick or 2 just to make the money work. And then Philadelphia will have the team that then they will be able to play with for the rest of February into March, into April, and then, and only then, will they have the roster that you can make a full assessment of. And again, I'm not promising you that Philadelphia is going to have the ultimate team heading into the postseason. But what I'm telling you is they're going to have value. They're going to have commodity. They're going to have more than what you see right here, right now. That's all. All right, back to the text board. 609-403-0973. George in Summers Point chimes in. He says, "Hey Josh, I'm just trying to wrap up this past baseball season after watching the Rangers destroy the Diamondbacks in the World Series. Do you think the Phillies could have given them a better series and could have possibly won the series as well? I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that. I guess we could put baseball to bed for the next 4 months." That's from George in Summers Point. Well, I'm not putting it to bed for 4 months because I think that when we get closer to the off-season owners meetings, right, when a lot of deals start getting done, I think that's when people like myself will probably refocus our attention on the Phillies. Because remember, on Monday, you can start talking to players, potentially making contract offers. But even then, there's no guarantee that that's going to result in anything. I do think by Monday of next week, it'll start the first step of the offseason, which is everybody kind of figuring out where they stand. Remember, the Phillies still don't know, is Bryce Harper committed to first base long term? Does he want to go back to the outfield? How does that work? We don't know what this team is going to look like right now. So I'm not putting baseball to bed for 4 months. I'm just saying that baseball is not, it's just not high on the priority list right now because there's a lot of what ifs still. And it's hard to even play the what if game if you don't have all the information to play the what if game. So, but back to your question about the Phillies versus the Rangers. I think the Phillies could have definitely given them a better series than the Diamondbacks. I think the Phillies could have better pitching. That they would have given the Diamondbacks, the Rangers a better matchup. But after seeing the way their offense completely fell apart at the end of the Arizona series in the NLCS, in front of their home fans, in front of the best home field advantage of all of baseball, it just makes you wonder that maybe the issue really wasn't how the Phillies match up with the Rangers. Maybe the real issue, George Summers' point, is how the Phillies look at themselves. Maybe that's the real problem. Maybe the real problem with the Phillies is that they sat there and they acted like, hey, we got it all figured out. And guess what? You didn't. And you didn't have it figured out. And you know what that means? That means you got to go back to the drawing board. That's at least how I look at it. I think the Phillies' success in failure to get to the World Series, right? It was still a successful season. You got to the NLCS Game 7. Every team would love to be at that point. But I know for everyone, including myself, we wanted to see the Phillies competing for the World Series again this year. Well, because the Phillies were not competing for the World Series again, it's their own fault. Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, Nick Castellanos. You're talking about what? Almost $1 billion combined between those guys? And they couldn't get the job done. So to me, I don't even know what the Phillies would have done in the World Series because of the way the Phillies collapsed. That's at least how I look at it. Over on the text board, 609-403-0973. Steven Ventnor chimes in and says, hey, Josh, it's a good point about the Cowboys. Let's take Parsons out of the game like we did last time, and the Eagles will be fine. Dallas might take some deep shots with Brandon Cooks. Eliminate the big plays on defense should be the key for the Eagles. That's from Steven Ventnor. Steve, you're right, because if you limit Dallas's opportunities to go big, then you put yourself in a position to keep the game close and get your offense back on the field. I think Dallas's key is they want to get the lead and they want to hold the lead and they think they can hold Philadelphia off. I think that might be part of their strategy. The problem with that way of thinking is that when you're the team that is in a position to hold a lead, you have to show evidence of having kept that lead consistently. Listen, if it wasn't for a couple plays that just didn't go their way, Dallas could have lost to the Chargers easily. I remember watching that game, and I remember thinking, yeah, this doesn't add up. This game doesn't add up. I just don't think Dallas is a team that fully understands that they're walking into Philadelphia. Into Philadelphia, by the way. Micah Parsons doesn't seem to understand that, but they're walking into Philadelphia, and they're going to play a team that has a real home crowd, not like the Chargers, that's got veteran, battle-tested football players, unlike the Giants, unlike the Patriots, unlike some of these many teams they've played. And they're playing a team that's got a really, really good offensive line, unlike almost every team that they played this year. I just don't think Dallas understands what they are walking into. I think that's a big part of the conversation. Over on the text board at 609-403-0973, Jeff in Ocean City chimes in and says, I need the Eagles to win the turnover battle Sunday to win the game. The turnover issue has been a problem for Philadelphia. I will not deny that. I will not ignore that. That is definitely something that has been a problem for Philadelphia the entire season. I will say, though, there's a part of me that wonders how many of Philadelphia's turnovers were because of actual mistakes that they made, and how many turnovers were because, things just didn't, bounce the wrong way, right? Like, for example, Philadelphia now has had a turnover in all but one game this season. The one game they had no turnovers in as an offense, they won in overtime 34-31. So even having no turnovers didn't guarantee them a better game. One of their best games on the year was the Dolphins win, and they had 2 turnovers. So you could literally kind of go into this Dallas game and have a negative turnover differential coming out of the game. You have 2 turnovers. They have 2 turnovers. But the key being that they can't capitalize on their turnovers, and you capitalize on the turnovers that you got. So that could be a scenario as well, Jeff in Ocean City. Tom in Margate says, hey, Josh, nice chess analogy. I'm still sitting in Shiva for the Phillies, but it is Dallas week. Go Birds. It's Tom in Margate. Tom, keep hoping for the best for the Phils. That's all I can tell you. We won't know a lot about the Phillies for a while. And listen, baseball offseason it's not, I don't want to call it chess, right? The baseball offseason is more like a marathon where you got to actually realize that you got to get all the miles in before you determine who the winner is. Whatever happens in November, December, and January, you won't know if it's worth it or not until October. So baseball is already a long season, but their off season is no guarantee either. So definitely I would say, keep being patient with the Phillies off season. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. I think that's my big recommendation with that. All right. We got more text to get to you on the other side. I see Paul from Rehoboth Beach. He wants to jump in on the conversation as well at 609-403-0973. Dan EHT is very unhappy with my explanation, so I'll give him a chance to be unhappy with me. And you can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. And don't forget, coming up in less than 20 minutes from now, your next opportunity to qualify for this year's 99 Bottles Party. Don't forget, 99 bottles. We take qualifiers every hour on the Sports Bash here on 97.3 ESPN. And then 2 more here on Game Night at the end of the hour here with me, Josh Hennig. When we tell you to call in, you call the number. Callers 6 and 7, you are qualified for the 99 Bottles contest. Everyone wins a prize, but what prize is determined by random selection. But you must qualify, and you must be present to win, whether it's a pair of Eagles tickets, Sixers tickets, Flyers tickets, and more. They got it all for this year's 99 Bottles Party. Listen for the sounder coming up in about, let's say roughly 15 minutes from now here on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Maxey for 3, and it's good. How about that? The symmetry of Maxey and Embiid is on display again here tonight.
It's Sixers Raptors tonight. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary.
We believe that every sport should be epic. Every basket, every game, every point, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. Whether it's a game-winning goal in the final seconds of overtime or a shot on goal in the first period. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only, must be present in New Jersey. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows the Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
There's a price war in the insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call the Term Lifeline right now and see if you can save 40%. $500,000 plans and up, that's our specialty. Even great smokers rates. Protect your family today. Call the Term Lifeline right now for a free quote. 866-509-TERM, 866-509-TERM, 866-509-TERM.
Hi, I can help whoever's next.
Cooper's Overnight Shipping Company has to deliver the goods.
Ship these gifts to your grandkids.
They need a logistics manager to keep the wheels turning.
126 packages going to Toronto, Tuscaloosa, Montreal, and Minneapolis. Oh boy.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
Well, it's a patented key ingredient called testofen. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. It's backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text ROCK to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text ROCK to 321321. That's ROCK to 321321.
With Black Friday appliance savings all month long at the Home Depot, we're making the holidays merrier by making holiday hosting easier with our lowest prices of the year on Whirlpool kitchen appliances. Get everything you need to store all your holiday favorites
Dinner's ready.
And the leftovers with top brand kitchen appliances at a great value. Save up to $2,300 on select kitchen packages, including top brands like Whirlpool with Black Friday savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Attention business owners, this is John Souza, CEO of ERTC.com. The Employee Retention Tax Credit Program provides up to $26,000 per W-2 employee. If you're confused about the program, stop right now before it's too late. Don't fall for false promises and risk your business. All ERTC companies are not the same. The bottom line, there's no such thing as guaranteed eligibility, and being innovative with tax filings can lead to an audit. At ERTC.com, we won't mislead you to attest to your own eligibility. At ERTC.com, everything is done in-house by expert CPAs, and there's no cost to get started. With the ERTC.com Fast Track Refund Program, you may qualify to get your refund in as soon as 48 hours. Get started today at ERTC.com.
Get your free refund information now. 800-200-3009. 800-200-3009. That's 800-200-3009.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. the needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon.
This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and 6 months of Apple One. All on us with unlimited Ultimate. Go to your local Verizon store now. 6 months of Apple One, then $10 per month. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on unlimited Ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Apple TV 4K and Apple One offers require eligible phone purchase with activation on unlimited Ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for details.
Something good to know from First Bank of Sea Isle City. We have all of today's innovative banking products just like the big banks, but we offer something they can't. A personal community focus. Let's get you started with Bill Pay. You save time when you pay your bills online. It's fast, easy, and convenient. First Bank of Sea Isle City, a community bank that delivers more for you every day. Personal service, today's technology, from the people who truly care. Learn more at firstbankseaisle.com.
Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
All right, back to the text board. 609-403-0973 is the text board. Don't forget, coming up in less than 10 minutes from now, your next opportunity to qualify for 99 bottles party. Of course, when you hear the sounder, that's when you call in, whether it's the sports batch with Mike Gill or Game Night with Josh Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. Before I get back to text, don't forget, coming up tonight, Sixers basketball at 7 p.m. And then you have Thursday Night Football following that here on 97.3 ESPN. So we will get to Thursday football roughly around halftime when the Sixers game versus the Raptors will be done tonight. So you have that to look forward to on the docket. I will say that for the Thursday football game, I saw that the odds are for under 18.5 points for the Titans is plus 133. I like that number because of this reason. It's a short week and you're going to Pittsburgh to play a team that has a much better defense than you faced last week. I think the Steelers are going to give Will Levis and this team a lot of problems. Okay? I don't think this is going to be as easy a scoring game as it was last week for the Titans. I think this is going to be a legitimately difficult game. So, I think that the Titans are going to struggle in this game. I like the Steelers to win this game. Like I said, under 18.5. You give me plus money for a team over under number like that. What you're telling me is the Titans can score 18 points and I still win. Love it. Give me that all day long. So that's my Thursday football thought on that. And like I said, I really do think Steelers are going to win the game as well. I think the Steelers defense is going to give the Titans a lot of problems at the end of the day. All right, back to the text board. Paul from Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Hello, Delaware out there. Paul says, is Citizens Bank really the best home field advantage in baseball when the last 2 seasons the bats went cold at home and cost them the series? Well, yes, Paul, because historically, if you compare every ballpark in Major League Baseball history in terms of how many games have been won versus lost and what the win percentage is, in the most literal sense, there have been more games won. It's a higher winning percentage at Citizens Bank Park than any stadium in baseball history. So it's a statistical fact. Secondly, it's not the fans' fault that the team choked in games 6 and 7. Of the 45,000 plus people who were at games 6 and 7 at the bank, Paul and Rehoboth. Let me tell you something. None of them were at fault for Schwarber, Turner, and Harper combining to go 1 for 20. It is not their fault that Nick Castellanos couldn't pick up his bat and get a hit for his son. It's not the fans' fault that your stars didn't do their job. Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber, their contracts add up to what? $800 million? So you can still be the best home field advantage and still your team failed this city. To quote Oliver Queen. That's how I look at it. Back to the text board, 609-403-0973. All right, Danny HC is very frustrated with me. So I'm going to try to give Dan some reasonable answers to his questions, okay? He says, come on, Josh. Zach LaVine isn't good enough. Neither is any other names I'm hearing. But see, Dan, you're looking at it in terms of you want a guy with name recognition. But yet the Denver Nuggets won last year because they put the perfect team around Nikola Jokic. Aaron Gordon was the perfect complement. Bruce Brown, a perfect complement to what Jokic and Murray were running. The Sixers have a big man, an MVP, and Embiid. They have a guard, and Maxey, just like the Nuggets do. You just need to put the right players around them, and it makes Sixers good enough. Don't worry about it's like when you go to a movie, right? Do you not go see a Denzel Washington movie because his supporting cast isn't big enough names? The Equalizer 3 movie was an utterly incredible movie. All right. My dad rarely compliments any movies. And we walked out of that film Labor Day weekend and said that was a really good movie. And Denzel Washington was one of the only name recognition people in the entire movie. Most of the cast were excellent supporting cast actors who all played their roles perfectly and made the film a hit. You don't need every basketball team or every movie to be locked up and filled with star power. You just need to give the audience a reason, one, to go and watch you, and number two, you need to execute with the script that's given to you. Same thing with basketball. Also, Danny HC says, will Harper be the biggest failure in Philly sports history if he doesn't win a title? Or is it Embiid or Iverson, Barkley, Dawkins, etc.? Well, I don't like using the word failure because to me, failures are people who, to me, I know it's not the literal definition, okay? I know it's not the literal definition of the word. So hear me out for a second. I'm not saying that. To me, being a failure is also equivalent with being a loser, at least for my psyche. I know not in the literal sense of the dictionary definition. I love Harper, and I know you do too, Danny HT. I don't think it makes Harper a failure because baseball, to me, is the hardest sport to win a championship as an individual. I don't got Iverson as a failure because he got his team to the finals. He carried the band of misfit toys to the promised land, and the band of misfit toys didn't show up for half of that series. Charles Barkley played on a lot of bad teams in Philadelphia. Brian Dawkins got to a Super Bowl, and his quarterback couldn't get the job done in the biggest game of the season. Now, Joel Embiid, he hasn't got out of the second round yet. Harper's at least gotten to a World Series. Allen Iverson got to the NBA Finals. Dawkins got to the promised land. Barkley got to an NBA Finals when he had a better team around him with the Phoenix Suns. So all of those guys, to me, are not failures. Embiid, he has to at least get you to the promised land, the collect. I think if all of those guys, I think that Embiid is the one that I would probably lean into the most there. Because at this point in time, Joel Embiid has proven that he is not good enough to win a championship. By the way, shout out to the anonymous texter who did not leave their name. I really appreciate your kind words, and I will reply to you after the show. I appreciate everybody who listens to Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. I appreciate all of you who tune into our shows. Mike Gill, myself, Billy Schweim. I know a lot of you out there, you don't always text in, you don't always join the conversation, but I know a lot of you are listening out there, and I appreciate all of you who listen to the station here on 97.3 ESPN, because we wouldn't be here without you guys listening and contributing and showing up to events and supporting our sponsors and advertisers. We are not who we are without you. So thank you to all of you who listen and tune in each day to 97.3 ESPN. Well, there's that sounder. You know what that sounder means? Caller 6 and 7, you are in for 99 bottles. 99 bottles this year is the day before Thanksgiving at the Anchorage Tavern in Summers Point. Mike Gill, the Sports Factory, broadcasting live from 2 to 6 p.m. that day. Caller 6 and 7. Call right now, 609-573-3776. 609-573-3776. Caller 6 and 7. You are in for the biggest event of the season. It's the biggest 99 bottles of all time, because they don't have just not one, but 2 pairs of Eagles tickets to give away this year. You must be pressing to win. Anchorage Tavern in Summers Point. Caller 6 and 7. Good luck. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great night, everybody.
You have the choice, whether it's going out to dinner or ordering takeout at a local restaurant. Those choices help to put money back into your community. And Town Square Media South Jersey puts a spotlight on local restaurants.
No Reservations, a unique breakfast and lunch restaurant, open 7 days a week. Follow them at No Reservations NJ. Vincenzo's Ristorante, putting the accent on Italian. Soon to be your favorite spot for a delectable lunch or dinner in Galloway. VincenzoSmithville.com. Chico & Sons in Northfield, voted #1 sub shop in South Jersey year after year. ChicoandSons.com. Provenza Restaurant and Event Center on Wellington Avenue in Ventnor, a mouth-watering Latin American steakhouse, providing customers with a truly great dining experience. On Facebook at Provenza Restaurant Event Center. Looking for a fun night out in Atlantic City? Head out to Gin Ricky's, the Roy Social Hall, and Wild Honey Barbecue, and party like a rock star.
Thank you for supporting these great local restaurants from Town Square Media South Jersey.